Division sits between two of the most glamorous divisions in boxing, middleweight and heavyweight. And over the years, sometimes it gets a little bit lost in the shuffle, but it hasn't always been like that. In eras past, there have been some great fighters in the light heavyweight division, guys like Billy Conn, Archie Moore. Then in the late 70s, early 80s, great resurgence of the light heavyweight division, guys like Spinks and Kwawi. And more recently, of course, guys like Roy Jones Jr. and Joe Calzaghe, they all brought excitement to the division and captured the imagination of the fight fans. Well, I firmly believe that we are about to hit another golden age of the light heavyweight division. And I think many people believe that the best 175-pounder in the world is right here, sitting on this dais with us today, Mr. Dimitri Bivol. Saturday night, he'll be defending his WBA strap for the 5th time against the hard-hitting Joe Smith Jr. Now, many of us have had the opportunity to see Bivol on the world stage, and we know that he is highly talented. Many of us have seen Joe Smith Jr. We all know this guy punches like a mule. But as a guy who came up as an announcer here in New York, I've had the pleasure of seeing Joe Smith Jr. and announcing him since even back in the amateur days. And what I can tell you about him is he also has a very high boxing IQ. So ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night, I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna see fireworks. So please do not miss this fight. The chief support on Saturday night, the tough Texan, the rugged road warrior, mighty Mo Hooker, defends his 140-pound strap, his WBO strap, against the Trini-born Brooklynite, the hardworking Slick Mick, Mikel LePierre. Should be a great fight. I love this for a lot of different reasons. You have 2 undefeated fighters. It's a Nixon-ill fight. You look at their trainers, Don Saxby and Vincent Parra, 2 of the best in the game, both with game plans. And if you guys have seen Mo Hooker fight in Manchester, if you've seen him fight in Oklahoma, and if you've seen Slick Mick fight in Brooklyn, if you've seen him fight in New York, you know that both of these guys are coming to win. So all I can tell you is if you can't make it to the Turning Stone Saturday night, you better break out the piggy bank, get your $9.99, get onto Dazn because you don't want to miss it. Here to tell you all about it, ladies and gentlemen, the president of Matchroom Boxing USA, Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Thank you, David. I think I could just stay at home these days. You've said it all. You've said it all. Quite right in everything you say. This is a massive show on Saturday at Turning Stone, a double World Championship header, and 2 very important fights on the card. We've had a great few days, great week, traveling around promoting Canelo Jacobs coming up on Dazn on May the 4th. And when I looked at the schedule over there that's been put up and going around on social right now, unquestionably the best schedule in American boxing right now on Dazn. You have this big show on Saturday night from Turning Stone. Next Friday, you have Tevin Farmer defending his world championship in his hometown of Philadelphia against John O'Carroll. You have Katie Taylor unifying the division as well. You have Gabriel Rosado against Magic, easy for you to say, Sulecki. Then you move on to 2 of our UK shows. You've got Golden Boy show with Ryan Garcia. Just announced in April, you have Rung Visai against Estrada rematch. You have Deheny against Roman. Unification, you have Jesse Vargas on that card as well. The week after, you have Canelo against Danny Jacobs. I think it's one of the best matchups in boxing right now. Alexander Usyk will make his heavyweight debut at the end of May, and then Joshua against Miller on June the 1st at MSG. This is an unrivaled schedule. And before we talk further about Saturday night's card, I'm going to bring up the MVP from Dazn, Joe Markowski, to say a few words.
Eddie stole most of my lines there, so I was going to start by saying thank you, but I'll pass on that. I think, as Eddie mentioned, this is our 7th boxing press conference in the past 2 weeks. And I think that speaks to one key thing, our favourite word at Dazn, and that's momentum. Eddie's mentioned it, I'll reiterate it. As we stand here today, only 6 months after our launch in September last year, we unquestionably hold the best schedule in boxing. Eddie said US boxing, I think global boxing. And March the 9th at Turning Stone really kicks off a strong spring-summer run for us. And interestingly, the man who headline our first show in that run is the same man to headline HBO's final World Championship boxing show light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. And in Joe Smith Jr., he's in against a man with heavy hands and a penchant for upsets. So it should be a cracking night. And it doesn't stop there because it's in classic matchroom style, a solid card from top to bottom. So I'd like to thank all of the fighters for their time today, stepping out of their final preparations in camp this week. So thank you for that, and also thank you for being part of such a strong spring-summer schedule for us. As Eddie also mentioned, the weekend after this, when St. Patrick's Day weekend, we'll see Tevin Farmer and Katie Taylor defending their world titles in Philadelphia. And then later in the spring, we'll see the return of Regis Prograis, Ryan Garcia. We announced this week pound-for-pound star Cyril Saket, Saul Rungsavai and Juan Francisco Estrada's bout in LA in April. And then, of course, we move into the summer with the best fight on the boxing schedule right now in Canelo Jacobs before Anthony Joshua's long-awaited US debut at MSG on the 1st of June. So we're not stopping there. It's a very exciting time for us, but to reiterate, it's just phase one for us. We're very excited, we're very proud to be delivering this schedule, and we want to thank everyone for their time today and looking forward to seeing all of you up at Turning Stone on Saturday afternoon. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Joe. There's many people that we're going to pull up here to talk on behalf of some of the fighters here. Joe LaGuardia for Joe Smith, Lou DiBella, Dino Duva, Vadim from World of Boxing as well. This is a stacked card, and some of the fighters have headed straight up to Turning Stone. Otha Jones Jr. will make his professional debut on Saturday night, one of the standout US amateur fighters. Nikita Ababi from Brooklyn, he's out in his third bout. Very, very exciting young fighter. Junior Yunan and some other fighters from Golden Boy and Joe LaGuardia as well, who'll be announced on the card. When we look up here, we see a fantastic mix of fighters. I'm going to bring up in a minute Sergey Kuzmin, who for me is one of the top 15 heavyweights in the world right now. He's fighting Joey Dawecko on Saturday night. Dawecko is a very, very tough opponent. You've seen him actually draw with Jarrell Miller earlier in his career as well, always comes to fight. Next to him, we have a fantastic light heavyweight bout between Callum Johnson and Shawnee Monahan. This, for me, could steal the show on Saturday night. Callum Johnson, we saw give Artur Beterbiev a fantastic fight in Chicago in October, knocked him down, and I think with a little bit more momentum and experience, I think he would have gone on to stop Beterbiev that night. Fighting New York favourite Shawnee Monahan. This fight is so, so important for both guys. I was talking to Callum earlier. The winner of this fight goes to look at the likes of Dimitri Bivol and World Championship opportunities, and the loser can forget about that. And I expect this fight to be an absolute war on Saturday night. In our first World Championship fight, we talk about Maurice Hooker against Lespierre. Maurice Hooker, right now, in my opinion, is the standout 140-pound champ in world boxing. What he has done to capture the title, to go to England and beat Terry Flanagan, and then go to Oklahoma in one of my favourite all-time nights in boxing when he beat Saucedo in his backyard. This guy, I believe, has it all, and I think he's growing in confidence, he's growing in power. Michael Lespierre, my good friend Lou DiBella here somewhere, he believes he's the guy to upset Maurice Hooker on Saturday night and add another World Championship belt to the DBE stable. The main event is spectacular. It's a fight that we've been looking to make for a long time with Vadim and the team. Dimitri Bivol, again, for me, is the standout number one in the 175-pound light heavyweight division. And I've been a big fan of Joe Smith for a long, long time, watching him in his fights. And as David said, his ring IQ is impressive, but his punch power is second to none. And I think Dimitri Bivol was previously known as a knockout artist and recently been going the distance. I think this fight does not go 12 rounds on Saturday night. I think it's going to be an all-action fight live on Dazn. Firstly, I would like to welcome up, like I said, I believe one of the top threats in heavyweight boxing right now, to say a few words, Sergey Kuzmin.
Доброе утро. Всех раз приветствовать здесь сегодня присутствующих. Рад находиться здесь, в Нью-Йорке, и боксировать в таком знаменательном событии. Продемонстрировать все свои качества лучше. Ну и, конечно же, продвинуться ближе уже к чемпионскому бою.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, to be a part of this big event. I would like to demonstrate all my boxing skills to everybody in this fight, on this show, and prove that I'm one of the best and make another step towards a world title.
Thank you very much.
As I said, in this light heavyweight matchup, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this down to you, Shawnee, because I'm going to ask you boys some questions because I'm interested in this fight a lot. Shawnee, first of all, I've been wanting to get you on one of our shows for a long time. You're very, very popular in New York. You always come to fight. You had a great fight with Sullivan Barrera last time out. Big fight on Saturday night for you and a big opportunity.
Yeah, this is as big as it gets for me, man. I've got my back to the wall in my career right now. I feel like if I lose this fight, it's over. So I'm desperate for a win.
Obviously, you started out as a major ticket seller and had a lot of easier fights. Then you got thrown in the deep end quite quickly and quite early and did against Barrera last time out as well. What have you seen from Callum Johnson, particularly last time out against Beterbiev, and how do you see this fight playing out?
I had the same observation you had. I thought he had Beterbiev hurt pretty badly, and if he would have maybe stepped on the gas after the knockdown, he could have got him out of there. You know, as for me, I think the 2 losses that I've had, I've learned so much from them, and I'm a better fighter now. If I would have knocked out 2 more journeymen, I wouldn't be as good as I am now from the lessons that I've learned.
Okay, we look forward to your effort on Saturday against Callum. Callum, again, that fight against Beterbiev was incredible, so exciting. How much did you learn from that experience, and how much do you bring back from that opportunity that you had on Saturday night?
Yeah, it was a great fight. I think I've learnt a lot from that fight, you know, mentally, physically as well. And, you know, if I ever get an opponent in that position again, you know, I'd not let them off the hook. And, you know, come Saturday night, you know, I'll be looking to do the same again and not let Shawnee off the hook. But, you know, I know I've got a tough challenge in front of me, and it's one I'm looking forward to.
You vacated your British title for opportunities over here. Obviously, you enjoyed that experience in October and see yourself in some major fights stateside with a victory on Saturday.
Yeah, it's great. I like coming out here, you know, and you know I've had taste of world level now, and you know I want to get myself back there.
Good. Again, Johnson against Monahan on Saturday night. A great fight. And before we talk and introduce the challenger for the WBO 140-pound title, Michael Lespierre, I'm going to bring up his promoter to introduce him, to say a few words about him and the fight on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for the understated Lou DiBella. Come on, Lou.
Thank you, Eddie. Very understated, huh? This is a terrific boxing card. It's loaded. There's some amazing talent on this card. There's some old friends of mine. I want to see Shawnee in there in that fight. It's a terrific fight. Bivol's a great fighter. Kuzman, I've been following your career, a terrific heavyweight prospect. This is a loaded card, Mighty Mo. And, you know, I know everybody's going to subscribe for $10 to watch Canelo and Jacobs in, you know, come May 4th. It's May 4th, right? Okay. May 4th, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Do it now, because, like, Dazn is loaded with fight cards in the next, like, couple of months. Loaded. You know, the show that's coming up in Philly, Tevin Farmer's Homecoming, it's a loaded show. There's talent all over the place on these shows on DAZN the next few months. I got to be honest, when I first subscribed to DAZN to watch the Canelo fight, I discontinued it after the first month. I did. I mean, I got a couple of bucks, but who wants to throw away $10 a month if it's not worth it? Well, guess what? Now it's worth it. You know, I did resubscribe, and it's worth it. And there's great stuff coming in the next couple of months. And subscribe and watch this show. You know, Mick Lespierre, he's not here just to show up. He's here to try to win. And this is his lifelong dream. And this is a guy who's a quality person. And it's somebody that, you know, has worked a full-time job at Mount Sinai Hospital, has been in the gyms when he's not at work, has been honing his craft, made himself into a contender, earned this opportunity, did it the old-fashioned way. Thank you, Mo, and thank you to your team for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, Eddie. And he's going to go out there, and I promise you something. You know, as he said to me earlier, people think like Mo can punch, Mo is a champion. People think this is going to make me afraid. He goes, what I've been through in my life, what I've had to overcome. He goes, nobody, like no one man's going to scare me. Nobody's going to. I'm from Brooklyn, and it's my pleasure to introduce from Brooklyn, New York, Mick Lespierre.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank God for allowing me to be here and be present. I want to thank my promoter Lou DiBella for the opportunity, Eddie Hearn, my team, Maurice Hooker and his camp, there's nothing much for me to say, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. If the weigh-in was tomorrow, I'd weigh in and let's go to work. You know, I'm not much of a talker. I like all my actions to, you know, show improve, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for Saturday. Thank you.
Can I just say, only Lou DiBella, right, would unsubscribe for a free trial. Like, this guy, like, I know how much money this guy makes, right, because he's constantly sending me invoices. Where's he gone? And he subscribes for the free Canelo trial and then unsubscribes and then resubscribes a month later. Lou, what are you doing? It's $10. No, we noticed that, actually, but now we've seen them all coming back. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Lou. I've got $10 for you as well. I'll give to you after. That'll give you an extra month. Congratulations. Well done. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We admire your honesty, though. I thought it was fantastic. This man, again, I'm going to bring up Dino Duva to say a few words. It's been an absolute pleasure dealing with Rock Nation and Dino Duva. I see so many people talking about, oh, these promoters can't work with these promoters. That's rubbish. You know, if you share a similar passion for the sport, if you want to do straight business, there's certain people you can work with and some people that you can't. And with Maurice Hooker, we have a co-promotional relationship with Rock Nation, which has been excellent. We look to extend that very soon as we look to take Maurice Hooker through Saturday night and back to Dallas in June, July for a big, big homecoming for him, because I believe this young man deserves it. I believe he's gone out there, he's earned his corn, sometimes off the radar, and now it's time for him to be very much on the radar. So to introduce Maurice Hooker, I'd like to call up one of our good friends from Rock Nation Sports, Dino Duva.
Thank you, Eddie. It's great to be here. Fight week, final press conference, the adrenaline's flowing. Everyone's ready to go up to Turning Stone after this event. Very, very excited about this event for a number of reasons. First, as Eddie said, we entered into a wonderful partnership with him a while back, probably almost 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But this will be the first fight that Maurice Hooker has shown his stuff on Dazn. And we're really looking forward to him being part of that wonderful fight roster that Dazn has, wonderful schedule of fights. And everything they all said is true about the lineup that Dazn has. They are absolutely the most quality streaming boxing service there is, among the other things they have too. But you look at the lineup, and they have the top quality. And then to Lou, my friend Lou, I signed up for the Canelo fight, but I didn't unsubscribe. And Lou's got a lot more money than me, too. So before I get into introducing Mo, I just want to acknowledge, as Eddie mentioned before, somebody who's fighting on the card Saturday night. He's one of Rock Nation's rising young stars, and we're really excited that he's on the show. He's from Brooklyn, New York, sitting in the crowd right there. He's a super middleweight who is going to be a world champion someday, and he's one of the most marketable kids out there, Junior Union. You know, they say in life, not just in boxing and anything, timing is everything. And with Maurice Hooker, it applies so strong. Less than a year ago, Maurice Hooker was kind of in boxing oblivion. He was obviously waiting for a world title fight, but things were just stagnant. Didn't know where he was going to go, but he was patient. He worked hard, and then when he went to England to fight Terry Flanagan and win the 140-pound title, he just put it all together. I mean, he just put it all together. Nobody thought he can go to Manchester to beat Terry Flanagan. They said, you're crazy going over there. But he did it. He did it. He fought masterfully. And then the next fight, last November, as Eddie mentioned, one of the most exciting nights of my life, too. Eddie and I were hugging for a while after the fight. He went to Alex Saucedo's hometown, Oklahoma City, put on the performance of a lifetime. And those 6 months, the last half of 2018, Maurice Hooker put it all together at the right time. And if he had been fortunate enough to fight earlier in the year, he was up there for Boxer of the Year consideration. Obviously, Usyk, who won it, had a great year, but Maurice was in the mix. And it's probably only because he only fought the last half of the year that, you know, he didn't get it. But now, 2019, his first fight on Dazn against a very worthy challenger in Les Pierre. He's not looking by him, but 2019 is the year that Maurice Hooker is going to prove that not only is he the best 140-pounder in the world, but he's a pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And that's his mission. But again, he's not looking by Les Pierre. Les Pierre's a good fighter. He's a quality contender, worthy challenger. Before I introduce Mo, I have to acknowledge real quick his team, who's one of the best, most solid teams I've ever worked with. First, Maurice Hooker's manager, who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest managers I've ever worked with in my life. And I've been with some good ones. But he doesn't just manage. He takes care of Maurice like a son. He manages his affairs. He helps him with life issues. And he's done an outstanding job. And I got to acknowledge him, Arnie Verbeek. I was going to hawk it. Also, Maurice's trainer, who, you know, until Maurice stepped onto the scene, you probably didn't hear much about him on a national or global level, but he's fast becoming one of the top young trainers in the world. He's done a terrific job with Maurice. I've noticed that he's a wonderful strategist going into fights. He plans the right strategy for Mo against his opponents, and he's just done an amazing job with Maurice. Vince Parra. And Vince's assistant, who was very valuable to the team, Eddie Roa, too. And now I want to bring up a guy who's really, really excited me in this business the last 6 months, and I'm proud to be his promoter with Eddie Hearn, our co-promoter partner. A kid that you talk about being through a lot in his life. I respect what Les Pierre and other fighters have been around, have been through. But this guy has been through as much or more than anyone there is. And for him to come through like he has recently, it just shows how much he's matured and put it all together, and again, at the right time. I want to bring him up now from Dallas, Texas, the WBO junior welterweight champion of the world, Mighty Mo, Maurice Hooker.
Thank everybody for coming. And thank you for everybody coming Saturday. Saturday gonna be a good night. I'm coming. I'm in shape. I know you're in shape. I'm looking for the knockout. I'm pretty sure you're gonna look for the knockout. You know it's boxing, but I'm gonna get the knockout. I'm putting on a good show. I'm gonna show everybody why I'm the WBO World Champion. And thank you for taking the fight. I want to thank Eddie Hearns and the Zone, Rock Nation, my team. What's up, Junior? Thank everybody for helping me get around me right now. And I took the hard way, and I ain't giving up yet. And just the beginning. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mo, and I echo that as well. Arnie and Vince, great guys, great team. The main event is going to be a great fight. I know that Joe LaGuardia and Joe Smith are extremely excited about this opportunity. I know that World of Boxing and Vadim and Bivol's team know how tough this fight is, know how dangerous this fight is. It's WBA light heavyweight championship of the world. And to introduce his charge, Joe Smith, I'd like to welcome up to the stage our friend Joe LaGuardia.
Thank you, Eddie. Eddie's right. I'm very excited for this fight taking place this Saturday on Dazn. First, I'll say, since everybody else is talking about it, I subscribed to Dazn. All right. Lou, I didn't unsubscribe. I kept it. All right, and it's still going. The only thing I do have to say is for the past 2 weeks, I've been getting calls from union offices throughout the country, all right, that want to support Joe Smith, and they keep saying, well, how do I find this? Where's the O? Where's the E? All right, Dazn, what do you mean? So I got to spell it out for them. So if you want to see it, you should subscribe to Dazn. Frankly, it's a great, and I'm going to say not just a streaming service, it's a great network. All right, you watch it right on your television. It's amazing. And you could find it easy. You could get the fights you want to see. You could go back. It's a fantastic, fantastic network, actually. And, you know, I'm pleased that it's in boxing. And they have a great lineup coming up, and it's going to start this Saturday. Be sure, if you can't be at Turning Stone, be sure to tune in on DAZN. All right, subscribe. Get in there. All right, for all the union guys, all right, across the country that have been calling my office, just go right online. You're going to pop it up very easily. All right, it's great. And I'm really looking forward to this night. All right, I've had some great success in the light heavyweight division. And I remember jumping, you know, off of my seat a little bit when Roy Jones got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, and I had Tarver. But nothing excited me the way Joe Smith excites me. All right? I've never jumped as high as I have jumped when he fought Fonfara. And, you know, he was a big underdog that night. And I hear, you know, Eddie, it's been great working with Eddie, been great working with Matchroom. You know, we're fighting a great, great fighter in Bivol. You know, probably, and I believe, you know, the best light heavyweight in the world out of all the champions. But I'm bringing jumping shoes for Saturday night. All right? Joe Smith has always been something special. He could bang. He could punch. And, you know, I like to speak about his background, where he comes from, and his hardworking nature, and the union aspect of him, the common man aspect. In that ring, he's anything but average. He can punch. And he's got a great boxing IQ, as was mentioned earlier. And we're looking forward to a really successful night on Saturday. And don't blink. You know, this is a great fight between two great fighters. And I'm looking forward to a great night. Before I introduce Joe, I just want to mention his managers, trainers, and that's Jerry and Phil Capabianco. They've been with him from the beginning. Literally from his amateur career. So, at this point in time, I know you know it, but before I introduce him, I'm going to remind you that fought Fonfara. He was a 25-1 underdog. All right, blasted him out. Came back, and he was brought in as being the hype for a final farewell for Bernard Hopkins. All right, he upset those plans as well, knocking Bernard Hopkins out. First man not only to knock him out, but knock him out through the ropes and out of the ring. All right, he's something special. He's got a sledgehammer in that hand that I've never seen before, both hands. And he makes boxing exciting. So tune in on Saturday night on DAZN. And at this point in time, I'm going to introduce you to somebody I'm very proud to be promoting, and that's Joe Smith Jr.
How's it going, everyone? I'd like to start off with just thanking everybody who helped get this fight for me. You know, this is a great opportunity, and I'd like to thank Bivol and his team for, you know, giving me this opportunity, or offering me this opportunity. And, you know, I put everything I had into this training camp. I worked real hard, and I'm looking forward to this Saturday to put on a great show for everybody. You know, this is what every fighter dreams of, you know, their shot at a world title, and this is my shot, and the work has been put in over the years, and I'm going to put it all together this Saturday and give you all a great show and become the next champion. I'm going to bring the belt back home to my hometown and share it with my family and everyone who had a part in helping me get to this position.
Thank you, Joe. And Joe, it's a great story. It's a great opportunity for you to become world champion. on Saturday night. Now we move on to the champion, and I firmly believe this man is the best 175-pounder in the world. He boxed on our show about a year and a half ago in Monaco. He won with a first-round knockout, and I've been chasing him ever since. And I'm delighted to start working with Dimitri Bivol and a great team of people in World of Boxing, and Kathy Duva as well in main events. And it's been a pleasure working with them. I know the setup that they have training out in LA. I know how much they invest in their fighters, not just in getting them the right fights, but also in getting them the right preparation as well. And from this time, I'd like to bring up Vadim from World of Boxing to introduce his fighter, Dimitri Bivol. Vadim.
Thank you, Eddie. Always a pleasure. Just want to, first of all, send regards from Andrei Rybinski, the promoter of Dmitri Bivol, co-promoter now, with Kathy Duva being here as well, and big team and working very well together. Andrei couldn't be here right now, but hopefully he'll be there at the fight. Just want to say that it's been a pleasure working with Dazn. I really think Dazn is the next thing coming. I really believe that if they've done so much in a year, there is no stopping them. And I believe that you know, that's one of the main reasons that we choose to be on Dazn, is because we believe that whenever there's a new thing that comes along, usually that becomes the next big thing, and that's what we're looking forward to. Doing a lot of business with Eddie, you know, we've done numerous shows, always been a pleasure, always very well organized. The whole team, Frank and everybody, always do a great job. Thank you, Joe Smith. This is a big opportunity for us. Looking forward to it. Definitely something that could have happened earlier. I mean, we were interested in the fight. A lot of the people that we talk to, a lot of people that we communicate to fight Dmitri Bivol don't really want the fight. And this fight was supposed to happen actually back in November in Atlantic City. For some reason it didn't, but we're happy that finally Joe's going to be in the ring with Dmitri Bivol, and this should be a really exciting fight. And we had a great camp. Dmitri went through a lot of great sparring, sparred with Benavides, Coyote, sparred with Kevin Newman, a great training camp with his trainer Gennady Mashyanov. Looking forward to this, you know, turning stone. Joe, we've had some rivalries before, Provodnikov, Algieri. Looking forward to another big fight coming up here. It's 1-0 to this point, so we should even that out. And yeah, I'd like to introduce Dmitri Bivol. You know, we're fighting again. In a way, we're fighting in the hometown, you could say, of Joe Smith. But I really believe that Dmitri has the skills and the experience to keep his title and to become one of the top champions and world stars in boxing. I'd like to introduce Dmitri Bivol, WBA light heavyweight world champion.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming. I don't want to talk too much because I don't know as many jokes as Eddie Hearn. And I just want to say thank you all my team who helped me in my training camp, all my sparring partners. Thank you my promoters, Eddie Hearn, Andrei Rybinski, Katie Duva. Thank you everyone who helped me all my career, and I'm ready to fight, and I hope Joe ready too, and we will make a good fight, great fight, and don't miss our fight. Thank you.
Fantastic English. It's getting better and better. Well done. It's kept at it, kept at it. Thank you, guys. Don't forget, Saturday night, Turning Stone. I think you join me. We love this sport. We love this sport. And it's about stories. It's about drama. And everybody on here on Saturday night has their opportunity. Many different opportunities. Maurice Hooker, the opportunity to go on and try and cement a legacy as the number 140-pounder in the division. Callum Johnson and Shawnee Monahan, a chance to just flip your career on its head, make some massive money in big 175-pound world title fights. Michael Lespierre, you've got an opportunity on Saturday night to become world champion. You will never have to work in your day job again, my friend. because you're going to go on and be in some massive fights at 140, if you can do it. And that's the great thing about boxing. And Joe Smith, you got a chance to become world champion on Saturday night. And that's why drama in this sport is absolutely second to none. And for people like us, and Joe, what we talk about, my old man said to me once, if you can get 1% of the adrenaline that a fighter gets when they walk to the ring, you should be very happy. Well, sometimes I feel like I get 50 or 60% or maybe more. And I know how Joe's feeling with his charge, Joe, and Lou's feeling about Mikhail. And that is why boxing is just such a special sport. There is so much drama, so much on the line. And once again on Saturday night, these guys will put themselves on the line for our entertainment. We're the lucky ones. We get to sit back and watch these great fighters in this great sport. So we should acknowledge them and thank them for everything they give to us as fans, and make sure we tune in Saturday night, give them the respect they deserve, and get ready for a wonderful night of boxing at Turning Stone on Saturday, live on Dazn. We're going to have head-to-heads with the guys up here now. We thank you so much for coming, and we're going to head upstate for a big night on Saturday. Thank you very much.
Luckily, they just sort of kept the control. Kept it pretty
Go, Johnny.
Yeah, I'll try to. Okay, I'll just try to pull that. All right,
From the camera behind you.